Is starting a food truck business a good idea? So, welcome to Food Truck Freaks. In this podcast, which we will upload to, are we going to upload, guys, to YouTube as well? All right. Yeah, we're going to upload this also to YouTube, and it'll be a podcast up on our podcast is available as well down below in the description section. You can check us out on those multiple platforms. We are on 11 podcast platforms. So check out Food Truck Freaks podcast as well. And if you're brand new to our YouTube channel, if this is your first video, welcome. We are all about food truck entrepreneurship and getting your food truck business up and running and bringing you all the resources you need to be successful doing it. My name is Damian Roberti. I'm actually a food entrepreneur. I have been in the food industry for over 35 years, and I operate multiple YouTube channels here on YouTube. We have quite a few of them. One of them is about to reach our 100,000 subscriber milestone, and that's Marketing Food Online. So definitely check out those links down below and our other food entrepreneur channels as well. But let's dive into this. I've actually got 5 specific reasons why it is a great idea, actually, to start a food truck business, even in 2022. And I'm going to be more specific about why that is. But we're going to dive into the 5. Now, this is in no particular order. These are not any top 5s from 5 down to 1. All 5 of them can give you a great understanding and reason why you need to open a food truck. If you're on the fence and you're kind of figuring out, whether I don't know, sure, my friends are telling me this. After you hear these 5, it's all nonsense. If you're hearing negative vibes from people about starting a food truck business, unfortunately, I would tell you just to find some new friends and get some people who are more positive around you, because food trucks are one of the things that you can invest in and start with, and you can actually create and experiment and do a lot of things you can do, but you can't do in a brick and mortar. I actually should know because I operated an Italian bakery and Italian deli and bakery business. We had gelato, panini sandwiches. My wife and I started it quite a few years ago. I learned a lot. Actually, I made some really good decisions, and I made some decisions that could have been better. But particularly, these 5 things are going to help you out and understand your food truck business. So, number 1, food trucks actually can get more customers to them than a brick and mortar restaurant, okay? Now, here's the reason why I say this. Food trucks can get more people because food trucks are mobile food businesses, as you know. But the places you go to are particularly events, that's festivals, farmers markets, local brew pubs, whatever it may be. But those events they're in need of eateries. They need mobile food businesses. So those fairs and festivals and different events that have all kinds of things going on, if it's a concert or if it's an outdoor event, and they don't have any eateries around them, they're reliant upon the food truck. They're reliant upon you to be there. And for that reason, you are catering to people who are going to be hungry. So if you're a pizza truck, a taco truck, if you're doing hamburgers and hot dogs, or if you're doing fine dining cuisine, and there's no eatery around and it's an event, and you may be possibly one of maybe 2 or 3, maybe just a few food trucks, you are going to have the people come to you. Now, when you have a brick and mortar, this is something I learned on my own experiences, is brick and mortar restaurants or cafes or delis like we relied on the foot traffic. And if you're in a shopping plaza and for some particular reason, you don't get a lot of foot traffic in that plaza, people are not necessarily going to come deliberately to your restaurant unless you have really good food, really good service, your prices are right, and a whole list of other things. So the beauty about having a food truck is that you can take your food truck specifically where people will be in need of eating. You follow what I'm saying? So you can actually generate business because you are the one there with the business. Brick and mortar, on the other hand, you've got traffic, you have people driving by, you might be in a good plaza, you might be in a busy plaza, but they may not want the type of food that you have. Or maybe they just don't have the funds to eat out that time. There's a lot of reasons why you may not get business from just foot traffic. But a food truck is going there. It's going to a place specifically where they're in need of food. So food trucks can actually end up getting more customers that way, okay? Next up, number 2 is food trucks have a very low operational overhead. Okay, when you have a food truck and you have a very basic menu, simple menu, maybe you've got a few ingredients, the assembly of those ingredients to create your finalized food product, it doesn't take rocket science to put it together. So you and potentially maybe 1 or only 2 other people can literally be running a food truck and have it do 6 figures a year or even more, or even a 30, 40,000 a month, wherever you might be, of course, based on your location. But you have low operational costs. Now, take that and consider a brick and mortar restaurant or a cafe, or you want to open up something that's a brick and mortar. There is an enormous amount of, I can tell you from my own experience, not only is the insurance insanely high, but you've got a lot of payroll because you're going to have way more than just 2 people running a restaurant. You've got cooks or chefs, you've got people cleaning, bus boys, waiters, waitresses, insurance for the building, insurance for the customers coming in the door, insurance for the employees, it goes on and on. So overall, your operational expenses for a food truck are low. Now, here's another one really quick. This is not one of the 5, but this is something that just came into my mind. The other great thing is that if you have a successful food truck and it's in one city or county within your state, you can take that and literally not only franchise it, but you can actually open up 1, 2, 3, 4, even 5 different food trucks with the same menu because it's done so well in that city or county within your state, or even branch out and have it in another state. But you can have multiple food trucks operating at multiple events covering multiple areas, okay? That's something to think about too. Obviously, you can franchise a restaurant. Everybody knows that you can do that. But the operational cost to get that up and running every single month and have multiple locations of that is enormous compared to a food truck. So number 2 is low operational cost. Number 3, what's great about food truck business is that you have the ability to try new locations, okay? So if you've got a certain menu and you are, let's say you're creating gourmet tacos and you've got a specific type of fresh meats, protein that you're making, you've got your own sauces and marinades, whatever it may be, but you've got a successful food truck. But you know what? The location you've been at lately, not really doing all that great. You can't pick up a brick and mortar restaurant. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, the podcast, if you're doing no business at a brick and mortar, you can't just close it up, pick it up, and then go to another place and reopen immediately. Your food truck, though, you can. You can drive that food truck to another location. You can drive that food truck to maybe a new event that's in town that doesn't have any vendors that are selling tacos, and you sell out like crazy, okay? So you have the ability to test out new areas, and if you find out, you know what, that area over there does really well. This area over here, I just don't do much business in. You can experiment with that. That's the beauty of a food truck, okay? Next up, you can use a food truck to experiment with a concept if you eventually do truly want to have a brick and mortar. So the idea is to test the menu, test it in the community that you're in, but do it with a low overhead. You can even, by the way, I don't know if you know this or not, but if you're watching this and you're not aware of this, you don't even need to buy a food truck. You can rent or even lease one, making it even more minimal amount of an investment. If it doesn't work out, well, the food truck goes back to the owner, you pack up your stuff and you're done, right? But at least you tried. At least you experimented and check and see whether or not it really did work. But the idea is that you can test out a concept or a brand before you endeavor into a big investment. Let me tell you, when I opened up, my wife and I cleared out our savings and we maxed out our credit cards and we did a lot of other things financially. That was probably not the smartest thing to do. But we did it on our own, but we invested a lot of money in it. So when it opened, it did well. It didn't do fantastic, I'll be honest. It did great, it did well, but it wasn't doing what we really truly wanted it to do. So we transitioned to e-commerce, and we've been there for 12 years since. So if it works out, if that's great, then you can take that concept and say, you know what, now it's time to I'm going to transition into a restaurant. Because the great thing is a lot of restaurants now, because of what happened in 2019 and all, what they're doing is that they have limited amount of space open, or they reopened their dining rooms, or they've been impacted so dramatically that they've actually expanded into food trucks to try to reach the community and to go out into places that are in the areas that they're in, not reliant solely upon the brick and mortar, okay? So that's another great reason why you have a food truck, because you can expand on an existing brand or test one out before you make that big dive into getting a brick and mortar. Number 5, low initial investment. So number 5 is food truck business, really in comparison to brick and mortars, are a very low investment type of business. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure plenty of you are saying, well, Damien, I've heard that it's $100,000 to open up a food truck. No, that's not. No need for you to buy a $125,000, $130,000 food truck. Is it going to cost you about $50 to $60 on the low end, or even around $70 or $80? Potentially, if you want to get one that's obviously got the right equipment. Maybe you have a used truck, but you have to retrofit it and build it out, but you're going to use brand new equipment, licenses and permits, initial investment in obviously payroll for a few months, ingredients, small wares, anything that you need as far as other permits and licenses with the city or counties. Of course, yes. But if you compare that to a brick and mortar, $50,000 or $60,000, you couldn't open up any restaurant that I know of for $50,000 or $60,000, not even close. So the initial investment to get it started is way, way, way considerably lower. So if you want to test out a concept, get a food truck. If you want to have the ability and the flexibility to be anywhere and go any place and meet your customers where they are, get a food truck. If you don't have $200,000, $300,000 to dive into a restaurant, or even more than that, actually, then get a food truck. Remember, like I said before, you don't have to necessarily buy one. You could rent it, you could lease it, you can create any type of contractual agreement you want with the person who owns the food truck, or even there's companies that actually make food trucks and simply lease them and rent them out. There's lease to own. You can even rent it or rent to own. You can even lease to own a food truck. All of these are available, these different ideas. You have to be the one to initiate that movement and go towards it and try it and see what you can do. But all in all, food truck businesses are a great idea because at the end of the day, if it works out, then you've got a great idea concept and you also create a lot of experience. More importantly, you experience what it is to run a food truck business. Okay? So if that was a great video helpful out, let us know down below with a big thumbs up. And if you have a comment on food truck business or if any of this information was helpful, do let us know in the comment section. And be sure to subscribe because we've got hundreds of videos on this channel, brand new channel. It's going to be up and running with all kinds of great content for you guys. And I'll see you on the next video.